Hello friends, warm welcome wherever you are, however you're feeling. And today I wanted to explore a topic which I think for pretty much everyone seemingly walking on this planet is something that is dear to their heart on one level or another. And that's around the parent-child role. So obviously we've all been a child, and for many of us we've been a parent. So I want to talk specifically today about the role as a seeming mother, because today is my firstborn, Daniel's birthday. He is 34 today. And I was just reflecting really on the journey that's ensued since over those 34 years. But I think what's top or uppermost in my mind is how I have changed from the person way back then whose life was shaken up. Having a child is a massive undertaking, and it cracks you wide open to many emotions and feelings and overwhelm and responsibilities, as well as a love that is so vast and all-encompassing. And all I can say is, now the person I am now is completely unrecognizable to that young woman who gave birth. Back then, I hadn't been married that long, only about a year. And in the relationship with my husband, not much longer than probably a couple of years. And we dived into having a family early. And at that time, my life felt complete. I thought I'd had everything. I'd met the man seemingly of my dreams, although I don't even know what that really means, to be honest. As I say that now, what does that even mean? My God, that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, I'd fallen in love. I'd met someone I wanted to be with and have a family with, and I was in my sort of mid to late 20s. So seemingly the belief I had then was that my biological clock was ticking and I wanted a child. And I thought that everything would just be wonderful. And really, this whole journey has shown me that back then how in control I wanted to be. Not in an obvious way. You wouldn't have looked at me and say she's controlling, but in my own mind, I felt for safety, if I could control my life somehow, i.e., do what everyone told me to do, have a job, have a husband, have a family, have a home, that I'd be safe, I'd be happy. And of course, that myth just comes crashing down, because what I've come to thank God to understand is there is nothing in this world that will give me happiness, that will sustain me, that will fulfill me. Now, before you run away, before you go screaming up the road saying, what is she talking about? Just bear with me, hold fire. Because on this journey that I've found myself on, a spiritual awakening journey, which basically means to know thyself, I've come to see that all my safety, all my love, all my joy, all my peace comes from within, as in a direct connection, energy field, vastness of love to the supreme love of the divine, God, universe, creator. And when I'm connected with that, which is part of me, then I feel content and happy and peaceful and flow. Life takes me. Whereas the Anne-Marie back in the day wanted to control the direction. To let go was not something I understood, but probably didn't even think about, because life had brought me experiences, as most of us have, whether we're aware of them or not, that have shown us that the world isn't a safe place. You have to make your own destiny, or you have to watch your back, or you dictate how your life is going to be. And now, as I say, it couldn't be any different. It's the complete turnaround, complete opposite. I have no desire to control anything anymore. I'm not saying I don't still do it from an old pattern or an old trauma wound, but as soon as I spot it, I do the work on it, and I forgive the belief that I have to control my life. My life now has been given over 100% to God. The destiny is His. And that has not happened overnight, I can assure you, from that, as I say, that young woman all those years ago to this. There's been many experiences and opportunities to dive deeper into looking at what that really means and how that actually comes into living in a practical way. And I think, when you first hold a child in your arms, and you've carried that child within you, and you have all your dreams and your hopes and your expectations, but of course they're all based on the past, they're all based on what I've seen in the world and judged as good or bad, right or wrong, and therefore made up a set of constructs and beliefs of how I believed Anne-Marie as a mother should be and wanted to be, and give the best to her son and to decide what that looked like. Now that wasn't wrong or right, it was just what I did. And it's a hell of a learning curve when you have a child, when you're responsible for another life. And I'm sure for most of us, we have a heart that wants to just love and to see the best for that child. But now, with the awareness that I have, it's completely different, because the destiny of each of these bodies, these so-called figures that are walking around, our natural state of being is as a spirit, as a light source connected to the infinite oneness of all. And if we've arrived in a body, we have work to do here, as in the realization of who we truly are, as I said in the beginning, to know thyself. Now, most of us don't know or have any concept until we have a contrast in our life, a series of contrasts that bring us crashing to our knees. And for me, that, oh my God, did that come in, through bereavement, through codependency, through divorce, through illness, through deep pain, but trying to survive in a world believing that there must be something wrong with me then. Why aren't I happy? Why isn't everything all tickety-boo and wonderful? Now I'm so grateful that it wasn't, because of the extremes and the contrast that happens, it helped me to call out for help. It helped me to think there has to be something else. This can't just be the way life's meant to be. And I think many of us hit that rock bottom, or we get to a point in our lives where we're a good person, we've tried to do things right, we've tried to be the best mother, the best wife, a good citizen, etc., etc. And very commendable, right? Nothing wrong with that. But we've got to move beyond that to realise we're actually a spiritual being here. And we're here to actually align to the oneness of that truth. And when I started to, really hit the deck, I had to, well, I didn't have to, but I got to a point where I had to surrender my will in all areas of my life, and that included my children, and to give them to God and to get my hands off them. This is much later, when they're in their late teens, early 20s, because they start to become their own people, right? They start to have their own choices and make those decisions, which quite often don't align with their parents. They do things that you wouldn't have done, and you can't, for me at times, I'd be like thinking, why is he doing this? For my son, for example, my daughter was very different. She was a lot quieter, and I could never understand. And of course, then there was part of me trying to change that or control that or manipulate it. And that doesn't work. But why was I doing that? That's the more important question, because underneath all of that was my own fear, my own insecurity, my own disconnect from God. And all of that gets projected onto the figures in this so-called dream we call planet Earth. And all these figures, kids, parents, friends, family, work colleagues, whoever, we have scripted it all. We've asked for all of these situations to happen. And again, there'll be some of you thinking, no, Anne-Marie, I wouldn't have asked for such and such to die. I wouldn't have asked for such and such to have been abused, or whatever it is. And I get you, because I've been there. I've been in distress beyond distress, seeing seemingly horrific things happen in the world and feeling completely and utterly overwhelmed. But now I realise that is all playing out because of what is in my mind. And if any of you are aware of non-duality, you'll be aware that there is just oneness. There's one mind, there's one source. And when we truly connect with that, we live in this life in a completely different way. We're not trying to change and manipulate anything, as I said earlier. And I want to share a little quote from A Course in Miracles. And it kind of sums up exactly the feeling of how I've changed dramatically, expecting the world to change or other people to change or to be different or to appease me or to like me or love me or whatever. And it's from chapter 31. It's within the section Walking with Christ. And it's section 8. And it says, "Be very still an instant. Come without all thoughts of what you ever learned before, and put aside all images you made." So I'm going to repeat that. I want you to really try and take stock of what this is saying. Be very still an instant. Come without all thought of what you ever learned before, and put aside all images you made. That's your entire past, everything you ever learned, all the beliefs you've come to know, the conditioning that you've been told of how to behave, how to achieve in this world. Then it goes on to say, the old will fall away before the new, without your opposition or intent. There will be no attack upon the things you thought were precious and in need of care. There will be no assault upon your wish to hear a call that never has been made. Nothing will hurt you in this holy place to which you come to listen silently and learn the truth of what you really want. No more than this will be asked to learn. You will be asked to learn. But as you hear it, you will understand you need but come away without the thoughts you did not want, and that were never true. This is just a small section here, but this is how the spiritual awakening, the non-dual path, the forgiveness path, is it turns everything on its head, everything that we've ever known. And to come without thoughts of what you'd learned before and put aside all images you made. That's saying the whole world, everything you perceive with your eyes, it's saying to let that fall away, for the new to come in. Now, what is the new? The new is the title of this is called Walking with Christ. And the Course in Miracles is helping us to realize that the Christ mind, the Christ in us, is the connection to the oneness that we are. We are accepting we are the Christ. We are love. We are part of the oneness of God. And that goes across the board. There's no exception. There's no chosen special one. It's everything and everybody is the Christ in truth, is pure love, is whole and complete. And our worth is established by God, not the world, not by our past. And this is radical. This is, for some, just too much to even comprehend, as it was for me when I started to shift my mind. But I had a deep call because I was not happy. You know, when my world came crashing down, when my life fell apart in every conceivable way, I was clinging, trying to hold on to the world, onto what I knew. But there was something bigger at play that had to dismantle everything I ever knew. Everything. And that's not an easy path. It feels incredibly overwhelming and frightening. But if we're here to really heal this lifetime and to wake up this lifetime, this is what's needed. I didn't know that when I started. I had no clue whatsoever. But there was something in me just thought, this can't be it. There has to be something else. But I had no comprehension whatsoever. I had no understanding of a spiritual life, of God. I had no belief in God, of anything apart from my old beliefs and the control that I thought was how we lived. And really, now, as I settle into this much, much simpler way of being, there's no grasping, there's no needing, there's no blaming, there's no justification. There's nothing in the world that can make me happy. No body, no thing. But as we align with our true self, know thyself, this is what the spiritual journey is about, the capital self, capital S self, the divine, the Christ, then we are whole and we are complete. We are present. And then life comes through you, step by step, moment by moment by moment by moment. You don't have to manipulate anything. You come to see that no one can abandon you, nobody can hurt you. There are great opportunities to heal if you feel that when the triggers come, and oh boy, they're going to come. Oh yes, I've had a bucket load, well no, a bit more, a shed load to look at. And I'm so grateful now to be in a place where when I am triggered or I do see a belief in my mind, that disturbs my peace, it's straight back to just knowing it's something in my mind I'm believing, and I can forgive what's there because it wasn't true in the first place. It's just another illusion that I've made up. Because as the Christ, as the holy child of God, which we all are, we are by nature that love. And when we release everything and everybody to that love, that's the miracles that the Course in Miracles talks about. That's the peace that comes from the know thyself. It's sublime. It's free of any stickiness or any holding on or thinking that something should be different. There's an acceptance that just shines. And life is just very, 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 very different to an old egoic way of living. And I know there are many, many, many more now calling for this truth. And I was very lucky back, 20 years ago or something, when I met my spiritual mentor at the time, who told me I was having a spiritual awakening, and I didn't even know what that meant. I had no concept at all. And, I was falling apart, and thank God I was, but I was still trying to hold on to the old ways. But we can't sustain that. I couldn't sustain that. I had to crumble and be broken wide open. But the one thing she said to me, she said, Anne-Marie, if you only have one prayer, let it be this. And it was, show me the truth. And that prayer, I can still feel the depth of that in my heart right now as I say that, because I meant it. I meant it with every cell of my being, because I had no idea what that meant, what the truth was with a capital T. I had no idea. I didn't even know what I was praying for, but something in me wanted the truth. And the truth is that I am the Christ, as are you. You are love, pure love. You are spirit, you are whole, you are complete, you are innocent, you are guiltless. That's the truth. And does any of that have to do with anything of this world? No, absolutely not. But as we embrace the truth, so we can be in the world but not of it. So we don't deny what this world is here, but we're not attached to it anymore. We know it's just a backdrop for the healing, for the forgiveness, for the acceptance of the truth. And so wherever you are on your journey, however you're feeling, whatever's occurring in your world is exactly as it's meant to be. Everything is happening for you. But if we think we're a victim or it shouldn't be happening, we're resisting, we're pushing against the healing, we're pushing against the awakening. The more we can accept that what's coming is what's been asked for, if you like, to help us heal, then so we can get on with the work of accepting that. And, I understand if you're in victim at the moment where you're thinking that life shouldn't be happening like this shouldn't be happening. My God, yeah, I got an A star in that one. And it felt very, very, very painful to believe that all these things were happening and that they shouldn't be. Why me? I'm a good person. But I didn't know at the time that I was completely in that role of victim. But again, it's a stage we have to go through, so don't make yourself wrong for that. But know that it's not a peaceful place. So there must be another way, right? And there is. But you've got to ask, you've got to pray, you've got to open your heart and your mind to that and not believe you know the answers, because you don't. I didn't. I had no idea. But when we do pray for something like I said, show me the truth, and you mean it, and I mean you've got to really mean it, not just speak the words, is there a deep calling within your being, your heart, then I can promise you, friends, that the universe will line up every single thing you need, every person, every situation, to help you come to know thyself, to know the truth. Now, for me, I can't think of anything more fulfilling in this world than to live in that way. I've tried all the other routes. I've tried the human stuff. I've tried it all. And it only gets you so far. But when I learned I had to surrender that, a completely different way unfolded, and I couldn't have imagined in my wildest imaginings how that would have looked and what I would have had to experience to come back to the simplicity, actually, of who I already am, who we all are. And that's why I share these, because if you happened upon it, there's something in you that wants something deeper. And even though you've got no clue how, even though your story will be different to my story, it's just a story. It's not the truth of who you are. And it's not your true identity. Now, would you like to know your true identity? Would you like to embrace that? I mean, when you do, then the beauty that will come to support you will just blow you away. And to know you're not alone on that journey, that you are loved. It's boundless love that supports you and wants you to remember the truth. So today, as I honour that journey I've been on as a mother, I mean, my God, it's a good job we don't see our future, because if I'd known what that would have involved, I think I would have opted out, because it's been massive. It's been nothing that I could have orchestrated or planned. It wasn't how I saw it all coming out, at all, on any level, on any shape, in anything in my life. Nothing has turned out as I would have expected. And that can tip you over the edge, that can tip you to a point where I want out of here. And I get that too. I really do. But if you have that moment, that tipping point, that holy instant where you call from your depth of your being for another way, for the truth, as I say, I promise you, it will come. But you've got to ask, you've got to do your bit. You've got to be willing with all your heart to discover what that is. And so I can't even, I think words are just failing me now from this massive realization of what it takes. So I really truly envelop you with all the love that you are. And I pray that the depth of your being will ask for the truth. And I know that it will come, and it's a different way, but it's the only way for me now. So thank you for listening. If anything has touched your heart, you have any questions, doubts, uncertainties, resistance, that's all welcome. It's really, really welcome. And express it, share with me, join with me, get in touch with me. Let's explore it together. Because we're just one mind healing. And I can't go home without you. Thank you for listening. Lots of love.